Okay, here we are on a cold, dreary Friday morning, loading up the truck as we're going to the boat to do what's going to be a fun job, and that is taking out our poop tank. Poop tank is leaking, so it's going to be a shitty job, but somebody's got to do it. So I got to take out the exhaust and all the batteries and everything else. Day started off sunny, but it is now turned to cloud and rain, wet snow mix. So that's not very fun. And as you can see, for sale sign is on the front lawn, so we're hopeful for that. Okay, we are off to the boat. Next stop, boat. Then sell the house, sell the Challenger. Hey, know anybody's looking for a really nice 2011 Dodge Challenger RT Classic? Okay, here we are on the boat, and the task at hand, like I said, is getting the holding tank out because we got a leak. So access is through here, which takes me down into the back in the cockpit. And our holding tank is located on the port side of the boat, back in that corner. So what I got to do is, can you see the batteries? Okay, first thing I got to do is remove the batteries, and then there's the exhaust from the port engine is running right in front, but conveniently enough, this fiberglass section is removable for that exhaust. So I got to take this sleeve off here and that one there, remove the pipe. But first of all, I'm going to start with the batteries, get the batteries out of the way, and that'll give me a little bit more crawling space and access over to there. So that's where I'm going to start, and I'm going to hook up the GoPro camera and hopefully be able to capture most, if not all of it. Okay, before I get ahead of myself, I just want to mark where everything is. These are combination house and starting batteries. That's a standalone starting battery. And this starboard side starting and house battery together, and that is the port engine starting battery only. And this is the exhaust piece that I have to remove. As you can see, there's like a coupling on either side of the solid fiberglass. Now this is the main exhaust that's coming off of the port engine. There's the muffler, obviously, and that runs out. Now this engine, this boat, Sea Ray has what they call their patented underwater exhaust system. So the main thrust of the exhaust drops down. There's two little torpedoes underneath the boat. I call them torpedoes. They look like it, and that's where the main exhaust runs out of. But of course, the engine has to produce, the thrust of the exhaust water and air coming out to push it down underneath the boat. So they have, before the engine's revved up enough to create that force, they have little side exhausts that you would normally traditionally have in a boat, where the exhaust just comes out the side, and they're like little bypasses, and that comes off here. That is a separate piece that's running behind this main pipe off the top of the muffler as well, and that's in behind. Now that is, I'm just feeling, same thing, it's a fiberglass piece, that fitting that comes off the top, a molded piece, and then it's going into another coupling piece, and that's, running in behind, and then it takes off and runs out, if we can get some focus here, to the port side of the hull, above the water line. And I'll show you that, some pictures on the outside, see what that looks like. So that's what I gotta remove first. These two pieces, well, after the batteries, and these two pieces of the exhaust system come out before I can get at the holding tank. And the issue is it's leaking right there. That fitting has become loose. I'm sure it's as a result of all the pump outs and pressure and whatnot. And that,
because it's imploded.
Yeah, that fitting has come loose and it's starting to leak. And beyond that, the tank itself is, like Anchor Girl just said, it's imploded. It's got oil canned. But I'll get to that in a minute. Or 10. I don't know if you can see from there. Can you see where I'm pointing? Camera person, yes? No?
Sorta, okay.
On this extra terminal, the red line that's going through onto the positive side runs back to, there's an automatic charging system on the boat. Of course, we've got to be charged, plugged into the AC to produce DC to charge, and it's got 3 banks. This battery, those two, and then there's one more here, which is the standalone starting battery for the Jenny. The generator. That big 9,000 watt Westerbeek. The one that, if you look back in my channel from last summer, we're in 2013 right now when I'm producing this. And last August, after our holidays, if you recall, I put the auxiliary muffler on the generator. And how did that work, my dear?
Excellent. It's so nice.
Yeah. It knocked down the noise by 50% or more from the exhaust. It's really, really nice. So that was a bonus piece. Highly would recommend it to anybody who has a noisy generator on their boat, because it worked fantabulously. Okay. There's the last battery of the 3. There, batteries out. Batteries are out. Tea break. So now we have the batteries out of the way, and then the next element is going to be removing the forward exhaust pieces. Okay, here we are, the last little bit. This represents probably 40 minutes of struggling to get this collar off of one end or the other, and I'm almost there. So as the final yeehaw, I'm gonna, oh, come on. Come on, yeah, faster. Yeah, that's that end. Now I just got to pull it out of that end, which should free up nicely.
some lube in there. Used a multi-purpose spray lubricant on both ends here, which got it out. Now I just gotta work a little bit more into this end. She should poop out. Look at that. Holy. Right. Oh man, look at how much that was in there. Wow, they weren't taking any chances, were they? Man, that was about 5 inches there, and this is probably 8 inches back. Well, she never leaked anyways, which is a good thing. Now, I can fathom some sort of grip on this piece here. Fiberglass pipe. Okay, after all that farting around for almost an hour and cursing and humping and hooping, that little piece of fiberglass pipe is now released from its hold. Shazam. So this will just set off to the side because I don't think the boat's driving anywhere for a little while. It's not until that's back on. Okay, that's that. Now, if you can see, if you remember when we left the house, it was wet snow. We got sunny on the way up, and it was nice and bright to work down here, and now it's clouded over again. But look at that, we have light. Woohoo! So there, now you can see what I'm talking about insofar as the main exhaust line and this auxiliary side one. And that just runs straight out. So this should be a little bit more flexible, and hopefully I can just unclamp it here and pull it out of the way, and if with any luck I won't even have to move it from there. I can just drop it out of the way. Okay, on to that job. So we have now those hoses removed. That last one, this one's not completely removed. I just cut it out of the way. There's lots of line and flex, so that's the one that goes out the side. But I was commenting that this one here, where it clamps on to a fitting way up and in behind there, which has, maybe 3-4 inches of clearance to here. When the boat was built, the Sea Ray plant in what's it called? Palm Coast, Florida, and we know because we were at that facility and we were checking it out. The boat was built, of course, to haul first, and then they introduced this deck afterwards. So the benefit to the production is that everybody can stand up straight while all these components, the engines and everything, right? The exhaust, the fuel, the tanks and whatnot are all in place, and then they mate the deck to the hull after the fact. So our good friend at assembly station number 14, on one day way back in 1997, when he clamped that hose on to the other side, was standing and he screwed everything from the top down, double clamp, right? Which left me about this much room to work to get the little socket set in there, and then just
because he wasn't thinking about holding tanks having to be removed many years later. He was thinking about getting off work early on Friday and hitting the beach. Anyways, well, his beach thoughts ended up being my bitch of a job. And again, more cursing and swearing, and got hit in the head, but that's all right. So now we have clear view of the holding tank, which is now going to be unclamped and hopefully taken out of the way before we bugger off, because I got things to do. I'm going to take that vent pipe off just so I get a little bit more clearance, and then clamp. Here it comes. Right there, lads, alright. It's going to be pretty shitty when that does come out. I got all those rags down here, do I?
What?
Those bags of rags.
Right here. Okay, put it down. Here, I'll hold it.
I got it. Don't touch it anymore, please.
It's out. The stinky poopy is out.
Wish that camera had smell recording.
We should walk that right to the garbage.
Okay, you filming it? Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about, oil canning. So that was starting to split.
I'm shaking.
You pull. The fitting's pulling away, and this stupid freaking sensor, which will not go in the new one, was popping up, and we were having stink at the end of the. Okay, shut that off.
I'm good to go.
Okay, so anyways, we are both very happy that that holding tank is now out of the boat and dispensed with, and got a preliminary cleanup in there because we had a little spillage. Unfortunately, the holding tank wasn't 100% empty when I disconnected the last line. So we had a little bit of a mess to clean up, a little bit of going on there. But that's okay, because the bucket that got partially filled went in the garbage too. So I'm driving here in the coldness without my sweatshirt. I had to take it off because we had some spillage in the village and some splatter on the sweater.
Wow.
So anyway, yeah, so that's done. So woo-hoo, 2 thumbs up for that, and very happy that we got it out, which was the plan over the last few weeks, because the thing had been leaking and making a little bit of mess down there. But the boat had to come out of the water for me to do that. As you've seen, those exhaust lines come out, and I can't do that with it in the water because the boat would sink. So that's done.
That wouldn't be good.
No, that wouldn't be good at all. Yeah, so that's all done. I just got to do some really good cleaning, and then make up my template, which is going to be basically a cardboard box. And then we will get our custom tank ordered, and that will be closer to the spring, because there's no point in doing it now because it's only going to get colder. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, and of course I'm going to do a follow-up video with the installation of the new tank and setting up the gauge on it too. Yeah, so thank you. I hope you enjoyed that. Keep an eye out for the follow-up video, which again is going to happen later on towards the spring, probably March, because boat's going to be back in the water in April. And always remember, you got to click, comment, like, and share. Click, comment, like, and share. Click, comment, like, and share.